Hey there, this is Radical Improvements. This channel focuses on men's self improvement, and today we're specifically looking at your personal aesthetic and how it helps you in dating. Recently, I was lucky to talk to one of my own mentors. This is GLL Scotty from the website Good Looking Loser. We delved into how he came to his own personal aesthetic, which back in the day was in stark difference to a lot of more popular mainstream dating coaches. He rocked an edgier, more extreme look, and it paid dividends for him. Enjoy the conversation. I have been a stylist now, like in terms of like in the community for like 2, 3 years now. And a lot of it came from like Chris's, like a lot of what I learned came from Chris's original style articles, which I don't know if you ever saw these, Scotty, but he like basically made style guides that were very much centered on what you guys had decided, which was like, I guess the edge. And I never heard anyone really talk about like edge before. And it's really been like a core of everything I've like advised in terms of all of my clients. Like we try and get more, like just get you away from like the button up nice dude look that I don't know how many guys you've ever spoken to about dating who like they went when they went to dates when they were younger, they would do the whole like look like an office worker shtick with like and trying to look as nice as them, like nice in the way that mum thinks would look nice. And I was like, no, you got to go for something that'll actually like look at what girls actually like and dress like that potentially would probably help you a lot better. And like, yeah, that commonality that I think you and Chris found, it was like, that edgier look really works like well for girls.
Yeah, definitely, man. And first and foremost, yeah, I would attribute some of my style like to actually my father, believe it or not. He was a very good role model for style. He dressed well and he had a lot of money and he was really into fashion. My dad was one of those guys, so um a lot of his stuff was very high end stuff at the time. It was like, diesel jeans and True Religion was very popular. Like, dude, my dad always took care of himself and dressed really, really, really well. He was into really nice watches. He collected a lot of nice watches. Um, so yeah, I'll attribute a lot of that to my pop. And whenever we had like, Christmas or he was giving gifts away or we go on, trips together, we'd spend a lot of time in malls. And my dad would always buy the best of the best. And so I kind of, followed his lead. And yeah, so shout out to him. I attribute that to him. Also, some other, I guess, guys that inspired me were, believe it or not, I was a big wrestling fan growing up, and one of my guys that I really just like resonated with his character and everything was Raven. Actually, I used to watch ECW wrestling, and Raven was really into that '90s grunge look, and he wasn't dressed as a wrestler. He just would come out in like a leather jacket and fucking t-shirts with bands on it and stuff like that, and ripped up jeans sometimes. I just thought the guy was like the coolest fucking thing ever. So, ECW was known for that. They were like a very edgy wrestling company that was like always push the limits, and a lot of their wrestlers would actually not wear like their traditional wrestling attire. A lot of these guys would come out and like ripped up jeans and shit like that. So yeah,
Sandman,
I was a
the Sandman coming through the crowd. I remember that
yeah,
shit.
right.
Yeah.
I remember you remember all this stuff, dude. Yeah, I was a huge ECW fan to the point where, like, one of my birthdays, we took a limo to an ECW event, me and all my buddies, and it was a fucking blast, dude. We would go to the conventions and everything, but huge, huge Raven fan. Uh, him and my pop, like I said, I definitely I would say they put me ahead of the eight ball compared to some normal guys like in my high school and stuff like that. That no one had, not a lot of guys had style. Like I always had the nicest fucking clothes in high school and shit like that, like True Religion. And then I dated, like I said, my second girlfriend. She was really into fashion as well, and she was like my sugar mama at the time. She was 31, I was 21 years old, and she
Mm.
had a lot of money, dude. And she bought me a lot of shit, dude. She bought me like a ton of Affliction t-shirts when they were really popular at the time. Uh, she's the one who kind of inspired me. So shout out to her if she's out there. To actually get tattoos, she was like really into following bands and stuff like that. And she was like, "I love tattoos on guys," and that's all I fucking had to hear, bro. Once I heard that she wanted that, I was like, I got like my arm tattoos first, and then I got my first few tattoos with her. But once we broke up, as I guess my heart was broken. I just like I'm gonna fucking go all out in this area too. I'm like, I'm gonna take it to the absolute extreme. So
So back in the day when you were getting the face tattoos, it wasn't like the Post Malone era where it's like nowadays it's not normal to have a face tattoo, but it's way more normal than it was in like whenever you got those face tattoos. Yeah. Like, did it really like mark you out in terms of like having that kind of stuff, or did you live in an area where that was like a little bit more common?
no, it wasn't, man. It really wasn't. It was actually very difficult at the time to find an artist who was actually even willing to tattoo my face. That's
Jesus.
how different times have
Wow, that's
changed. This was,
crazy.
I swear to God, dude, like a lot of the artists would refuse to do it for me. I was a young 21-year-old kid, and they were like, dude, I only had like my forearms tatted at the time, and I got my neck done. I went right for all the visible spots like a knucklehead. I just so then yeah, dude, well, you're right. Now it's way more common, but especially in New York City, even I would say that was a very edgy city, so it kind of was okay, a little bit more accepted. But even to this day, man, like Central Florida, where I am now, I still get girls like wondering if I'm a criminal and stuff like that. And yeah, I get disqualified pretty quickly from a lot of girls, especially in Florida, dude. So yeah, this look uh, goes hand in hand pretty much with where you are and what your location and demographic of what type of people are you going to be there. Like Lower East Side of Manhattan, it's definitely a little bit more accepted, you know what I mean, or the Village or
Mm.
something like that. But yeah, it still gets looked upon differently depending on where you are.
Yeah, we didn't mention
And we're in 2023.
we did not mention screening in our stuff that we learned from Chris and Scotty, but obviously screening is such a big part of the philosophy. And like you have a full-on screening tool like directly on your face, if you know what I mean? Like in terms of like what you said about disqualifying girls. Like it's actually one of the more hardcore things I've ever seen in terms of like following that philosophy. And obviously that, it's you. So you'd have to be like all in hardcore with any philosophy. And like,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
I mean, listen, like, no, I said they disqualify you. Like, I mean, and so good riddance, basically. But
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
yeah, so it is what
That's
it
what I
is,
mean, though.
man.
Like
Like,
Andy and I are very much focused on trying to get girls who aren't interested to not even fucking talk to us. Like if that makes sense. So like with like
yeah,
especially with online dating, like Andy goes all in with having like the pictures of like the girls in leashes and stuff, like on
yeah,
his like me and his girlfriend in a boy. Like I'm in a couple, we do BDSM. So he wants in the same way that like to a degree, like you don't want the girls, you know what I mean, who actually don't want to fucking talk to you over a face tattoo. You want the girls who are like basically already willing to go away with you because of it.
yeah. I mean, I got into pickup in 2008 was my first boot camp or whatever, and I would say for the first 2 years, I didn't have a face tattoo, and I was, pickup, doing a lot of pickup. So the things I noticed that the change wasn't drastic at all. So from 2011, 2012 to the end of GLL when I left, it was probably like 2014, 2015. Um, there wasn't no that's actually my peak years. I was just stacking up a ton of numbers, rotations with the face tattoos. So no, it did not hinder my results whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
you said, maybe I could have gotten more, but dude, I had more for my lifetime and for some other guy's lifetime as well.
Yes.
So if right,
That's
so
that's what we try to explain
Multiple
to guys is like
lifetimes.
we try to explain to guys that
yeah,
screening doesn't mean you'll get less, if that makes sense. Like having girls like screening so you get rid of the girls who aren't worth your time means you actually have more time for the girls who are, in theory. And so
that's
like
fair.
you have a more active, abundant sex life, even though you have like screened out a shit ton of girls.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point of it. It's more about where your energy goes than it is about attracting the largest number of girls. I don't
Yeah.
know if that I hope that comes across and makes sense.
It does make sense, man, because this is a lifestyle choice at the end of the day to choose success and to choose abundance and not accept mediocrity. So one of the things that
And your
you
face, I'm sorry, Robbie, I'll
that's
give
cool,
you a
bro.
second, but your face is like a light, and that's where if it's radiant and smiling and your teeth are clean and everything and they're white,
Mm,
that's what's going to draw the woman. Honestly, if their eyes are
mm,
just, if you got a sad looking face or you're not there, I don't care if you have face tattoo, no face tattoo, like you're, um, that's the difference maker right there because even when I had the face tattoo, like girls would constantly give me, when I would open them up, they'd be like, you have a really nice smile, or your teeth are beautiful, or you this or that. You have nice eyelashes. So girls are
Mm.
still drawn to the vibrancy of your face and what you're presenting them. They can overlook the face tattoo, even if it's not their ideal, or like, who's this fucking guy? Or they may have questions or whatnot. But depending on what type of face you are, if you're smiling and you take care of yourself and you got a good smile and good teeth, and that's where their attention actually is drawn, and they can actually overlook stuff like that.
Mm. Yeah, and that's certainly something. If you ever study under Brian, if you do coaching with Brian, if you come to one of his boot camps, you can see all these little things he's doing. I mean, even in the infield I recorded and put up recently, as he's building comfort, he does flash a smile. He does make good, meaningful eye contact. He does appear really warm, and he's these subtle layers are how he opens the women up and uh, creates lovely experiences for both parties concerned, and puts a massive smile on their face and brings them into a really joyful experience. So these subtle things, right? How to facilitate human connection, like face tattoos or not, man. What's coming from the core is our human essence and the love and beauty that is within us, right? And it does get transmitted through these
And that's
subtle
another
things.
good thing while we're on style. I think girls love the massive contrast, or they're intrigued by the contrast, because they may think a criminal, this guy's this, why, angry. So
Mm.
meanwhile, he's got very, great hygiene, straight teeth, white teeth, like there's a contrast there. He's got a really nice watch or chains or
Mm.
jewelry, like that stuff. They'll be like, whoa, this guy is not like a, um, incoherent fucking criminal. You know what I mean? So they could pick up on that pretty quickly.
There's a crazy good article Chris wrote about this, where he was like, you want to be a fuck boy, you want to be a completely tattooed fuck boy who can play the piano. That was like his example.
Right. Oh,
You
that's
know?
cool. So see, I didn't even know about that, but like, that's what
Yeah.
I mean. I know for sure from experience that if you could give girls the contrast of it, that's not all you are, and see through that, they might be their initial in a half a second, oh, this guy a thug or a criminal, but like, wow, this guy is articulate, and you know what I mean? Takes care of himself, obviously, dresses really well, takes care of great hygiene, smells good, things like that. That makes a girl really, really fascinated and intrigued. You know what I mean? So that's a good article.